Very much, everyone for being here. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kalman Yeager. I'm a member of the City Council. I have the great honor and privilege of representing the neighborhoods of Borough Park, Bensonhurst, Gravesend, Midwood, USA. You may have heard of these places. They're a wonderful place to live and shop. Come visit. With me is our Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, and I'm very, very honored and grateful that she's standing here with us today on an incredibly important topic. And I just want to introduce some of our friends who are with us here at Yeshiva Flatbush, one of the preeminent educational institutions in our community. Of course, Rabbi Jeffrey Rothman, who I know is behind. There we go, okay. Rabbi Jeffrey Rothman, the executive director of the Yeshiva. Rabbi Joseph Beda, the head of school, the principal of the Yeshiva. Rabbi David Galbert, the assistant principal, who I know is here. Ms. Esther Hidary, there we go, right behind me. And of course, Ronnie Towell of the Sephardic Community Federation, my friend and my personal Kohen. Thank you for the brachas. We're here today, and I'm going to turn this over to Congresswoman in a moment, but what we've seen in our community here locally, in Midwood, in Borough Park, in Bensonhurst, in Staten Island, in places all across the city, in the neighborhoods we serve, all across New York City, all across New York State, all across the United States of America, and really a pandemic of epic proportions that has been rearing its ugly head throughout the world, the topic of anti-Semitism. And there are a number of reasons why we should gather together at a place like this to condemn it. First of all, the children who are here are the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of generations of people who have been destined to be destroyed by the forces of anti-Semitism. And yet we're here. We're here and we're thriving and we're not going anywhere. This is our city like it's everyone else's. And so all we've asked is that when we condemn hatred against any group, condemn it against us. Condemn the hatred that's been targeted against Jews from the beginning of time. Anti-Semitism is the oldest known bigotry. It's recorded in the first historic book that was ever written, the Bible. People hated Jews. It's been going on for the last 5,000 years. We're familiar with it. But this is New York City and it's 2021. So it's time to end. And I'm very, very grateful that the Congresswoman has taken the time to be here. She has incredible work that she has to do in Washington, Staten Island, the rest of the neighborhood. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to the Congresswoman and thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, the councilman, and I think it speaks volumes that we're here, Democrat and Republican, to talk about this issue because it is incredibly important to the fabric of this community and the fabric of our entire city and nation. And unfortunately, here in New York City, we have seen hate crimes double over the last year. And when you look at just the last month compared to the same period in 2020, hate crimes have quadrupled. And those who believe that they can attack individuals because of their race or their religion or their identity are mistaken. And we are here today to vociferously, unequivocally condemn these acts against our friends, against our neighbors, and to say that we will not tolerate this in New York City. We will continue to speak out, and we will continue to condemn, and we will continue to come together to fight these horrible crimes that are happening across our city. Just to give some examples of some of the heinous attacks against our Jewish brothers and sisters that have occurred in our own city, and it's crossed every single borough. When you look at either the heinous assault on a man in the Diamond District in Manhattan, or the vandalism at a synagogue on Staten Island, or rocks thrown through the windows of synagogues in the Bronx, or a brick thrown through a kosher pizzeria in Manhattan, anti-Semitic statements spewed at individuals walking the streets of Borough Park, or assaults on individuals, violent assaults on individuals in Borough Park, swastikas found at a Veterans Memorial just the other day in Queens. None of this is acceptable, but more importantly, we must continue to always err on the side of law and order. And I think that is a major part of this issue. So it's part about hate and mental health, It's also very much about some of the policies that have been put forward in this city, in our state, that have allowed people to believe that they can get away with this type of behavior and these acts of violence against their fellow New Yorkers. I've been very vocal about what we need to do to fix this. One of it is coming together as a community and to say that we won't tolerate it. But the second part of it is actually putting forward policies that make sense and put individuals that do this behind bars. And that's something, unfortunately, with whether it be defunding the police or whether it be bail reforms that originally allowed people who commit hate crimes to go back into the street until we fixed a lot of that, pushed back and we won that fight. But it's taking away the plainclothes NYPD unit in our city. It is deciding to decriminalize quality of life crimes that has attracted more crime in our community. That is all the reason why we are seeing crime in our city increase and quality of life in our city decrease. And so today we stand as a community to say that we will continue to come together, we will continue to speak out, and we will continue to take the next necessary steps to advocate for policies that make sense and will keep everyone in New York safe. I want to thank everyone for inviting me to the school. I really enjoyed the discussion I had with the young students here who are great minds. They're getting a wonderful education. And before we wrap, I wanted to give the principal an opportunity to just say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you, Councilman, for coming to our school and for bringing light to this very important issue. One of the real necessities of being able to learn is to be able to feel safe and to feel supported. We try and do that every day here in our school building, but it's really important to know that we have that support from our local and from our federal government. It means all the difference in the world for us. Jews have not always felt safe and supported where they've lived, and the fact that we have that is a tremendous blessing from Hashem, from God above, but also the United States of America and the city of New York and the state of New York, and we're thankful for them. So thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for the work that you do, and God bless America.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. Really appreciate it. She actually has major commitments that she has to run to, so we don't want to keep her, but